Hello everybody, my name is Eric and I'm with the Syndicate, and tonight we're going to talk about better ways to trim cap. I'm kidding. Actually, we're going to talk about the Axiom LEDs that we just started to now stock. Feeling my way through the darkness, guided by... Now the Axiom LEDs have actually been in the Syndicate project testing since 2008, starting with the Great White Hope, which is the high-powered neon and LEDs, the LEDs that are at least a minimum of 1 watt each, 1 watt plus on each module. Now the Great White Hope ran for 36,000 hours before we stopped it, which we just recently rebooted to the Great White Hope 2, which began in February of 2014. Now the Great White Hope ran for 36,000 hours, like I said, and that is basically 12 sine years if left on for 8 hours a day. So that's how many hours we accumulated. 36,000 hours. And Axiom basically finished at the top of its class. They were alongside the GE Power Tetra Max, and a lot of the other high-powered products that were in there just did not last as long and did not have the low degradation rate as the Axiom and the GE Power Tetra Max. So the Axiom LED has proven itself with us and our benchmark comparisons, and just this year, just this late summer, we were given the opportunity to go ahead and start distributing the Axiom LED products, or Axiom LEDs, the power supplies we actually have been distributing for a couple of years now. And the Axiom LEDs power supplies are the ones that have been running our tests. I think we have about over 28 of those, and those are 36,000 hours, and we have yet to ever have a failure with those power supplies. And I'll get into later reason why we use the Axiom power supplies. Everyone in the LED world knows who Nichia is. Nichia has the best phosphors and just the best diodes all around, and the Axiom LEDs really show that. This right here, basically with the Axiom LEDs, they are basically a 2-for-1 is what you're getting. You can use them as, well, I'm just going to show you real quick. Before I turn this on, I'm just going to show you what exactly we have in here. So I'm going to use a different camera. You may or may not know that, because I may be using the same audio. But, so what we have in this comparison, I'm just going to show you real quick. These are all half-watt modules. We have the Axiom AXLE9. We have the Agilite core, which is a half-watt. And we have a JT. I'm just have these in here just to show you a half-watt module comparison. So I'll go ahead and turn this on, and just to show you here, they're all 3 lines here on one 12-volt power supply. So they're now on, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the sign faces on there. Your typical 7328 sign white letter faces, and these compartments here are 4 inches wide by 2 feet. The reason for the 4 inches is because, just like neon, LEDs replicate neon for channel letters, and anything above 4 inches we start to double up on them. So we put this to the extreme at 4 inches. And I'm going to basically take a light meter here and just show you what and where they are. Like I said, these are half-watt JTs, and I think you can see right here 133 foot candles on the surface. Now, what's important about measuring foot candles on a light surface is because in the sign world, we don't care about lumens. Lumens are skewed numbers, they're exaggerated, they're marketing terms. All we care about is lighting up the sign face. So that's the reason why I'm taking a light meter, and we're just measuring on the light face like we do all other light comparison tests. So 130, and we have 143 on the Axiom, and we have 95, 94 on this Agilite core. So like I said, 130, 131, 143, and 95, 94. So this is the Axiom on a 12-volt system. This is making them into a half watt. Now, what's really unique, now when you're using Axioms as a half watt, well, we're going for 2.5 modules per foot, which is basically the same as the JTs we have here. And 1, 2, and there's actually six half watt Agilites in here. That's just what they're spec'd out for. And that's what we spec out the Axiom AXLE9s is a 2.5 when you use them as a 5 watt module or half watt module. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to show you why it's a 2-for-1 deal. So to do that, I'm going to turn this off real fast. I am going to switch this out. Now we're going to put 2 modules per foot. And I'm going to explain to you why here. I'm not going to explain, I'm going to explain and show you why.
You say I'm caught up in a dream. Well, life will pass me by if I don't open up my eyes. So that's fine.
So just for giggles, 2 modules a foot. Let's see where they're at. 122, 123. It's not bad. So we are going to take the Axiom AXLE9 LEDs and a 12-volt system, which is actually underdriven. You're underdriving these Axiom LEDs on a 12-volt system. So we'll take these and we will run them at optimum, where Nichia likes to be. And we are now running them at 14.7 volts, which is, like I said, optimum, where it's supposed to be, where they want to be, and these are not in any way overdriven. So we just turned from a, what was it, 144 to now 312. Now I'm not trying to compare them to half watt modules here. It's a little unfair, but I'm just showing you what you can do with the same modules with less modules on a 14.7 volt system, which is where they're actually supposed to be. So just to make it more even comparison, we will switch these out. We have 2 modules on 1 strip. We have an apex on 1, which is actually the same watt module as the Axiom, but just to make it a little more even. I don't want to skew this or make an unfair comparison. So now here we have a more of a evenly rated comparison here. Okay, so here we have 182, oh, there you go, 195. So it's about 100-foot candles less, so about a third, and it's the same wattage, 1.6 watts per module, and yep, and this is four modules, and yeah, 4 modules for the 2 feet, and the Axiom has 2 modules per foot for the whole 2-foot section. Now the Axiom AXLE9 LEDs as a half watt system used in Project Tidy-Whitey is actually the brightest LED. All those modules go from 0.33 watts to 0.85, and as a half watt system, the Axiom is the highest in Project Tidy-Whitey right now. And we just put those in about 2 or 3 months ago, and I think just about a month afterwards we put these in the Great White Hope 2, and the light output is the brightest in the Great White Hope 2. Their light output is just shy of a 13mm EGL DL 65 neon lamp running at 60 milliamps. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing LED. So what really makes the Axiom LED is the fact that their diodes are Nichia of Japan. If you're familiar with LEDs in the LED world, Nichia is, I mean, it's just a kick-ass LED. In short, they're really known for their phosphors. I think there's a couple neon lamps that use EGL. I think EGL uses Nichia phosphors, or maybe they did at one time. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone will correct me on that when they read this or see this. So that is basically what your 2-for-1 deal is. You can buy one product. You can run it on small channel letters, keep it at a 1/2 watt, not overwhelm, too bright, or you can use it for really large, deep channel letters and run it on 14.7 volts and use them for large channel letters and electric sign cabinets. Now the Axiom LEDs, they are LM80 tested, they are UL recognized, they are listed in the UL SAM manual for wet location. Once again, you know, like I said, these modules are just, they're a simple package. Your board, most importantly your Nichia LEDs. That's the reason why it's such a low cost. There's no fancy packaging, there's no fancy casing, there's no lens, there's no marketing points and claims that go along with that casing and lens about viewing angle. It's just you know, a lot of times those casings, they'll trap your heat. A lot of manufacturers use the casing to conceal and hide the components that are used in the LEDs. And it's a bare bones package. It's bright. Like I said, it's high quality, it's Nichia, it's low cost, and it kicks ass. It's bright, and you can use it for very many of your sign applications. You know, I would highly recommend you try these. Try these on a small application, like just a couple channel letters, one channel letter set. Try it out. You know, you would need the military grade. They are military grade. The Axiom LEDs are IP68. These power supplies, you know, they have an onboard LED light for diagnostic. They have your adjustable screw to set from 10.5 to 15 volts. These will even help in your constant voltage LED systems that you may be using out there. You may have one line that's dropping because of the string length, or and you may need to make sure these are running exactly at 12 volts. You may have some that drop down to 11.5, 11 volts, and you can just adjust these. You're perfect for maintenance. You can make sure everything's at 12 volts. Make sure you have an evenly lit system. You know, the size of them, they're small, they're metal, and these are also, there aren't that many LED power supplies that can fully operate at 60 Celsius. And these will. If you look at a lot of the those cheaper, less expensive plastic LED power supplies, a lot of those you can only run at 30 or 40 C, and a lot of those have failure rates. You start installing these signs out in Texas, Arizona, and Vegas, and these are 60 C. There's not very many. When you go around looking for LED power supplies, the most important thing you would ask them is for what their D rating curve is. These are 60. And like I said, we have about 22 to 28 of these in the tests over time at 36,000 hours. Have yet to have a failure, and have yet to ever hear about a failure on a sign syndicate by any consumer or user. Now, I'm not a LED sign supplier. I'm not an LED rep. These LEDs are just one of the best LEDs in our opinion from our tests, and why we decided to carry them. I'm not going to tell you that LEDs are the best thing, and you should use them for everything, whether use them in place of fluorescent lamps or neon lamps. One thing I've always stressed is that every light source has their strengths and weaknesses, and they all have their best application use. But a lot of people decide to use LEDs for everything, replace it for this, that, and a lot of times that leads to failure. But if you want to use LEDs, then here's one that I really highly recommend. And if you ever have a small job coming up, just to try it out, you know, have to take my word for it, plug it in using your application, and every sign shop should have the test cabinets that we've been doing for, like, the Great White Hope. Everybody should be testing the products that they use. And if you were to test a product like this, you would see the results for yourself. So that's a quick little demonstration here and demo I wanted to show you online. If you have any questions, please give us a call, or keep monitoring the tests that we have online for Great White Hope and Project Tidy Whitey. And we're always adding new things in there. So you'll see them, we'll see them, and we'll see how everything goes along over time, just like we have with Great White Hope.
So wake me up.